I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. The countdown has started. Thanksgiving's on its way. Join me as we add a few more dishes to your Thanksgiving table. Dishes that might just become a family favorite. Today on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Welcome, Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. It's the only day of the year we will devote three SoFlo Tastes to. It's Thanksgiving, the granddaddy of all food holidays, our favorite holiday, absolutely. Others may come close, but no other single holiday is like this one. I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine and an incredible chef. This is Douglas Rodriguez. Hi, sweetie. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Chef Rodriguez literally coined the term and taught us all about Nuevo Latino cooking. Nobody does it better. It's a new style of Latin cuisine. He fuses Latin flavors and Latin cultures into one, sometimes devoting only one recipe to one Latin culture. I've learned from him, not only from he himself, but his books. He doesn't even know this. And every time I look up something, it's usually looking up your recipes because they happen to work beautifully. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I think that this dish really exemplifies cross cultures, like really what Nuevo Latino is about. Okay. Take a very classic American cranberry jelly and make it Latin. So I got cranberries here, water, and sugar, and we have. Can you turn that up?
Yep.
We'll get
How high do you want it?
High.
High. Got it.
Full blast. And we're just gonna dissolve the sugar in the water first, and then we're gonna add the cranberries to it.
You add them all at once? Because I like some broken and some not so broken.
You know, for this recipe, since I have some grated apple in it, I really don't care if there's, broken or not broken. That's it. The sugar is dissolved. I'm going to add the cranberries, and I'm going to let it boil for literally 10 minutes.
Okay.
And that's it. But, you and I were talking before we started, and how really Thanksgiving is really our holiday.
Right.
It's a chef's holiday.
It's a chef's holiday.
It is
my family's favorite holiday because we're food people, and this is our favorite thing to do is sit together and eat together.
And it's really the balance of the food, right? The sweetness of this and the saltiness of the gravy, the fall vegetables.
Now you actually do something that I would never do. Tell everybody what you do every Thanksgiving.
Well, I try to keep the
menu different.
I try to change things. I mean, I always make mashed potatoes. I don't really change the mashed potatoes. I might change the gravy. I might add giblets to the gravy. I might add sage and cognac.
But you keep everybody guessing.
I try to keep everything guessing.
That's
and
awesome.
I tell you, this one came up by mistakes because this is just a regular cranberry jelly. You got it right here. This is done.
Okay.
You want to serve cranberry jelly? This is a straight up cranberry jelly.
So this is already the 10 minutes.
And this is the part that makes it different and adds the Latin special. This is a green apple with the skin and all. This has been washed, and I grate the apple. And the reason why I don't cook the apple is because I don't want the pectin of the apple. This is more like
you don't
for
want
a
it
texture.
thickening this too much.
Yeah, I don't want it thickening too much. I want the texture of the green apple. You see, I got a nice amount of apple, and it has a nice chardiness to it. Because the cranberries are quite bitter. That's why you add all that sugar to it.
No doubt.
All right, so here we have the cranberries. You want to fold those in?
I'd love to.
And a little bit of freshly squeezed lime juice to give it a little bit of a zest.
Okay.
And this is freshly grated ginger.
Oh, that's a nice amount too.
Yeah, it makes it quite gingery.
Okay.
And then this is some jalapeno peppers. Yeah, jalapeno peppers.
Seeds too?
No seeds. And this is just some cilantro.
And that's
Chiffonade of cilantro. This is it. And this,
wow. You're going to use...
some zest. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course. I do that all the time.
This is one of my favorite tools, this microplane zester.
I know, right? Oh, my God. You microplane the way my mother did.
Really?
Well, I microplane down so that things fall in. My mother always microplaned up.
I can do a whole lime like this, right?
Right. Smarter. I just never got good at that.
Yeah, this is it. That's it. That's enough.
Beautiful.
And now you refrigerate it, put it at room temperature. Let's put a little bit here so you and I can try it.
What I love about this is that it's a little more savory than your typical.
This is straight up.
Oh my, the chilies are so good, but not spicy.
I think you're going to get the spice in a little bit. Now you got it.
This is so good though.
It's good, right?
This is awesome. All right, we're gonna come back and we're gonna do more sides today. Douglas has a beautiful side coming out of the oven soon, and I'm gonna show you a couple things and tricks up my sleeve too. We'll see you in a minute. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. As I am every week, I'm here at the Publix Aprons Cooking School in Plantation, home to SoFlo Taste. Visit Publix.com for a list of their really awesome cooking classes. So I'm here back with Douglas Rodriguez. We're doing a whole show on sides. They're so important to Thanksgiving. But before I get into his next very delicious looking stuffing, I wanted to ask Dougie what you're up to, because I haven't seen you in a little while and you're always up to new stuff.
I am. I'm actually opening up a new restaurant not too far from here in Sunrise at Sawgrass Mall.
You're crossing the Dade County line.
Crossing the line.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a new venture for me. It's a more of an eatertainment restaurant. It's a restaurant with a bar that has some entertainment involved with it. It's called the Mojito Bar, and plates by Chef Douglas Rodriguez.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good luck and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Let us know, and I will tell everybody to come and see you, and I'll come and meet you.
It opens up the first quarter this year, so February we should be open.
You know what? We're up in Plantation. I'll bring the whole crew, and we'll have some drinks.
Mojitos are on me. So this dish
Yes.
also exemplifies Nuevo Latino cuisine, the best of America and Latin America.
Okay.
So it's a chorizo cornbread stuffing, and we have some nice dry Spanish chorizo. Can you turn this up for me?
Yes, sir.
And now I just learned something from you right now, the difference between dressing and stuffing.
The article
never
could
knew
have been
that.
wrong. The article could have been wrong, but I read, and maybe y'all can tell me if I'm wrong.
Onions, go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay, very small diced onions, by the way.
Yep.
That it's called stuffing only if you stuff it into a turkey, and it's called dressing if it's cooked outside of a turkey, which, by the way, Chef and I were just talking about that. And chefs only make stuffing or dressing.
Dressing. We never stuff a turkey.
We never stuff a turkey.
Because you have to cook the turkey much longer than you would if you were just cooking the turkey.
And I stuff my turkey with aromatics.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a stuffing is aromatic, but I stuff it with aromatics that come out and we don't eat, you know, like lemons and oranges.
Do you always brine?
I usually brine. Sometimes I cure, but in the next show, SoFlo, I'm going to actually teach everybody how to make a turkey that's not brined, that you cook in 2 different segments. You got to watch it.
We talked about it.
It's delicious.
So we have corn and onion.
Okay.
Sweet red bell pepper for
stir.
color, a little bit of garlic for flavor, fine brunoise carrot. Brunoise is a French term for finely diced. Hello. Some celery. And of course, chorizo. This is going to release some fat. So that'll cook there for, a couple of minutes. I'm going to add a little bit more fat.
So this is a Spanish style chorizo. It's the hard.
The hard, exactly.
Chorizo.
And we peeled it. We took the casing off the outside.
Right.
Here, and I want to talk about this because this is a homemade cornbread.
Yes.
And obviously, if you don't have the time to make your cornbread, you can buy the dry cornbread stuffing that comes in the bag, right?
Uh-huh.
You probably would need more chicken stock than that.
To wet them more.
To wet them more.
But
all right, so let's make believe that cooked for another 5 minutes, and let's pour that.
I'm really good at making believe.
So am I.
Okay. All of it?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
You and I make a good team.
All right, all of it?
Yeah, let's do it in slow.
Little amounts?
Yeah, little amounts.
Batches.
Little bit. Go ahead, now you can pour.
Dale.
Yeah, and that's enough.
It's not too wet.
It's not too wet. I'm going to add some fresh thyme.
Okay.
Chopped. And then the final one are the scallions.
It's so colorful. It's so bright. I like this.
So
this
now
is something my mother would love.
This gets
How much time in the oven?
I think an hour.
That much.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, is enough, and it'll release more fat. The chorizo.
And all you're really looking for is it to just set and to turn a really beautiful color.
A nice brown, and I have one in the oven that's going to come out right now.
Careful.
Oh wow, look at that.
I'll put this one in so we can eat this one later.
You
so
go
the
first.
color's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
That's lovely.
Hot.
The little piece of chorizo, it's not too salty at all, even with all that chorizo in it. It's earthy. You got the corn goodness. That's delicious.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good. I love this.
Yeah.
Oof, this is good. I want to come to your house on Thanksgiving. I think I'm going to give up my Thanksgiving menu. All right, now I'm going to make something really quick. So I take some potatoes. Now you can take the little creamers, the little red bliss. These are obviously fingerlings, and you can cook them in nice, slow simmering water for about 20, 25 minutes, but you don't want to overcook them because they'll start to break apart. So you want them to be tender, really tender with a fork, but not, again, not falling apart, not breaking open. And Douglas, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of pushing down on them slightly.
Almost like you were to make a tostón.
Almost like a tostón, exactly.
And I make tostones just like
Perfect.
this. With this, I make
Do you really?
Yeah. Fry that again, and that's a...
Well, that's basically what we're doing. So instead of frying, which I have to be honest with you, at home, I would probably use my favorite. I use a lot of ghee. I always talk about ghee. I love ghee. And I always have ghee around.
Clarified butter.
So I would take some clarified butter or ghee or olive oil, really good olive oil. And I would actually probably saute them in the ghee or the olive oil until they get nice and crispy. I got it in my head that we should do one healthier approach. I don't know.
So what are you going to do, coconut oil?
No, we're going to go in the oven. So I'm just going to do a little bit of some extra virgin over the top. Season them already because after they're done, they are ready to go. So I'm just going to season them heavily with salt, lightly with pepper. And I already have some in the oven. They only take about 15 minutes. A nice hot oven.
Oh, wow.
And they're beautifully caramelized. They're super simple. Now these are great on their own. They're also awesome, as you know, as like a canapé with a little bit of creme fraiche and caviar, a little smoked salmon as a great starter. But it's a wonderful holiday thing. They're still hot, so they're not so crispy.
Yeah. We're eating right out of the oven.
We are.
We'll recommend doing that at home.
These are wonderful on their own. And they make something a little different than your typical mashed potato, you know, all the stuff that I always do. I just thought this would be fun. Once they cool, they get a little crispier, and you layer them up. You can do some little bacon pieces on it or leave them on their own. Just kind of delicious.
I love them.
I hate to say goodbye to Douglas already, but I'm going to be busy making a Swiss chard gratin next.
Ooh.
And
instead of cream spinach.
Instead of cream spinach.
Love it.
Yeah. But I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're wonderful. Promise you'd come back?
I promise.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas.
Okay.
And honestly, we should all thank Douglas for just being here, being an incredible chef, and being part of our culture here in South Florida. I'll see you soon.
Join our very own Chef Michelle Bernstein today at Bayfront Park in Miami for Cultivate, an admission-free food, demo, music, and ideas festival. Come let the interactive experiences help you think more about where your food comes from. Chefs will be performing live cooking demonstrations all day in the chef's tent, and Chef Michelle herself will be on stage this afternoon at 2:15. For more information, check out chipotlecultivate.com, but hurry, it starts at 11. Then tomorrow, feel the beat as you eat when Publix hosts the largest Caribbean food festival in the United States at Markham Park in Sunrise. It's the 7th year that Publix has sponsored this famous celebration of Caribbean culture and cuisine. For more information and tickets, go to publix.com/Jamaican-jerk-festival. Now back to a woman with a beat all her own, Chef Michelle Bernstein.
I wish you all could be in this kitchen with me right now. It smells so good. It smells like Thanksgiving, which again is always my favorite holiday. So I thought the last recipe, sides recipe, should be something a little more indulgent. This is a gratin, or as most people call it, a gratin. But my gratin will not have potatoes this year. It will be all made from Swiss chard. It's a green I love. By the way, you can do kale, spinach, totally up to you. You can get any kind of Swiss chard you like. There's always this large vein in the center. You want to cut it off, but don't discard it because it's actually, to me, probably the tastiest part of the chard. And so all I do is I take the leaf off from both sides of it. You can also just rip it off with your hand, by the way. It comes off either way. But I take the center and I cut it into little thin slices. And of course, this part takes a little bit, a couple minutes longer to cook than the leaves do. And I have a bowl of leaves here, all cut up nice and thin. We're gonna start out with, this pan is nice and hot, with some olive oil and just a little bit of butter. And this is really hot, so I'm just gonna go for it. I've got some very finely minced garlic that I'm gonna throw in here, as well as thin slices of shallot. You can also use red or yellow onion, totally up to you. And then I'm gonna add those crisp white centers of the Swiss chard. And in only about 1.5 minutes to 2, they start to get nice and tender. Now, because this is the base to my greens, I'm actually going to go ahead and season this part right now so that my aromatics have a lot of flavor. As these cook, I'm going to go ahead and add the leaves to it, but let me tell you real quick what I have right here. This is creamy bechamel. Every once in a while, I make bechamel on the show. It's a nice mother sauce. It's a good base to a lot of things, especially any kind of au gratin or gratin. So all you do to make bechamel is cook a little bit of either olive oil or butter, same amounts to flour. Once that cooks out a little bit, you just add milk. Whisk it until it's nice and thick like that. This one, I'm gonna add a little bit of grated manchego to it. You can use your favorite grated cheese, but just make sure it's a cheese that melts really well. Parmesan is also something delicious that you could add to this, but I love the flavor of a manchego. If you're gonna use a cheese, however, make sure that it's not too aged, because the more the aging on the cheese, the less it melts well. All right, so I start adding the leaves to this. And the only reason why I'm not adding more is because my pan is probably not as big as it should be, so I'm sorry about that. So I'm just adding little by little. When they start to wilt, I'll keep going and adding more. Remember, you can find this recipe, of course, all my recipes on SoFloTaste.com and of course on our Facebook page. And it will have all these wonderful Thanksgiving recipes on it. Okay, they're all beautifully melting. Add this one to it to finish it off. For a topping, I always like something somewhat crisp on the top to my au gratin or gratins. So I just have a little bit of panko breadcrumbs right here that I've very slightly toasted in a little bit of olive oil. Remember, it's going on the top of the gratin, so I didn't need to get them too golden because it's going to be working in the oven a little bit longer, and it'll turn even further dark golden brown as it cooks. Now I'm going to season this one more time because there's a lot of leaves here and it's easy to lose the seasoning. And you don't want to cook them too far. Once I've gotten them somewhat softened, I'm going to go ahead and add the bechamel to it. Mix that up a little bit. And go right into a baking dish. Now this is great. It has all these lovely aromatics. And then I'm going to take the breadcrumb topping and put it right over the top, so that every time you spoon into this, you'll have a crisp exterior and the creamy, smooth interior. So I'm going to put this on a nice hot oven, about 400 degrees, and when you come back, I can show you how pretty this is going to be. I'll be right back. For more information on today's show, or to see a previous episode, or just to ask me a question, please go to our website, SoFloTaste.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything SoFlo Taste. Welcome back to the Thanksgiving Sides Show. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Swiss chard gratin. Woo, and it's bubbling for me. And look how beautiful. Oh my goodness, that turned out. This is just beautiful. Obviously, you want to let it sit a little bit. You don't want to serve it when it's bubbling like this because it's really, really warm. But this is just delicious. Again, you can switch it around for any type of greens. You can even do green beans instead of the green leaves if you want to. It's just a delicious dish, and I love the indulgent part to it. Now next week, we continue our Thanksgiving prep with, of course, the main event, the turkey himself. I'll show you how I do my bird along with my pumpkin bread pudding and my creamy and roasty sweet potatoes with bacon gremolata. Coming up next on SoFlo Home Project, design expert Martin Amado surprises a teenage boy with a bedroom more befitting the good student and tennis fan that he is. Have a great weekend, taste buds, and I'll see you right here next Saturday on SoFlo Taste. This is so good.